You're listening to the Bring the Thunder podcast, a podcast by fans for fans.
Yes, you are. Welcome, everybody, to the post-game show from the Bring the Thunder podcast. OKC takes down the Hawks at home 140 to 129. They survive against this team that seemed, at least on the surface, to maybe not be putting up much of a fight, missing three of their starters, but came out shooting lights out and never really stopped. They ended up shooting 46% from three, but we'll get into the stats in total and everything. But, Joe, let's start off with our stats. What went well tonight?
A lot went well on the offensive side of the ball today. Starting with SGA, 39, 5, and 6, 15 of 24. Got to the line, 7 of 7, a plus 16. Cason Wallace, really good to see. I will talk about him a little bit more later on the show. 17.7 rebounds, 6 of 8 from the field, 5 from 6 from deep. That's always a plus when Cason shooting well. Reminded me of his rookie season when he was just lights out to start the year. J-Dub gets in there, 20 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists, shot the ball well, still didn't hit a three, but we will take 20 points from J-Dub all day right now. Chet Holmgren, 24 points, 9 rebounds, 3 blocks, 9 of 14 from the field, 2 of 4 from deep. Chet Holmgren is looking like the Chet Holmgren we saw in the beginning of the year, I think, anyway. Alex Caruso, like you said, off the bench, 16 points, 9 rebounds, 7 of 8 from the field, 2 of 2 from deep. Need a big game from Caruso tonight. Got it. And then AJ adds 10 points and 4 assists, while Aaron Wiggins plays 11 minutes. Anyway, with that being said, I thought it was a really good game on the offensive side of the ball. On the defensive side of the ball, not great. Although Atlanta did shoot the ball really well tonight. Nickeil Alexander-Walker went for 30 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists. Onyeka Okongwu, 26 points, 14 rebounds, 6 assists. Dyson Daniels, 13, 6, and 7. Vic Krejci, 18 points. Ricochet, 12 points. Kennard, 12 points. A lot of points for the Atlanta Hawks tonight. A lot of points, but that does come from 25 three-pointers made on 46% shooting. OKC shot 38% themselves. But it was a good game. It was a good game. I felt like OKC played well. It kind of just feels like they're going through the motions a little bit because they're home against the Trey-less, Jalen Johnson-less, Kristaps Porzingis-less Hawks. But what are your thoughts? I thought it was a solid game for OKC.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of hit all the spots talking about the offense. Obviously, it's nice to see the big three all contributing. I know we talked about J-Dub maybe not shooting the best, but having 29 and 7 across the board is all something that I really like to see. It's nice to see him getting involved in other ways. Everybody's talking about how the big three showed up, and absolutely they did, but you already kind of highlighted it. I'm going to highlight it as well. It was the role players tonight that really surprised me with Cason and Caruso. Those two single-handedly won us this game. I mean, Cason, man, I've been a little hit or miss with talking about his offense this year. I've obviously consistently said his defense is beautiful, but the offense tonight is what we need. It's if he can be shooting the 3 ball at a consistent level, all of those 3 ball panics start to go away because that's another player who can knock down the open 3. And tonight he was not just knocking down the open 3, he was knocking down contested 3. So I'm not expecting 5 for 6 from 3 from him every single game, but if he can start to bump that 3-point percentage up, that's going to mean a lot to this team. And same with Caruso. The Christmas game, that was a massacre in terms of his shooting percentage from 3. Tonight, 2 for 2 from 3. He's taking good shots. He's not forcing anything. So offensively, everything was great. The bench unit made a big difference. Defensively, Joe, you're absolutely right. This team should not be getting the shots that they were getting against us. Yes, they hit 25 threes, but that's not my problem. My problem is 13, 14 of the 25 threes are wide open. I mean, that's what frustrates me is the defense just felt lackluster at times. It felt to me like there were some drives that they were getting that were really, really easy. There were a couple layups that just felt, I don't know. And it's not a problem with the anchor. I think Chet does a great job tonight. He had 3 blocks. He was holding down the paint well. It felt like an effort problem at times from some of our guards, in my opinion. There were definitely some times where they got blown by really quickly or they just couldn't quite stay in front of them. But let's go to the other side of that real quick, and I'll let you chime in here, Savir. But the other side of that is Atlanta. They're just knocking their shots down at a ridiculous rate tonight. Nah is an incredible player. But Savir, give some input here. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, our defense hasn't been up to par. I mean, we dropped down from the number 1 defense. The Spurs actually took that spot this month. which is kind of curious as to, how badly we played. But also, Spurs fans did mention that they had good defense against us, and we dropped down to like net number 4 in defense this month, and we'll probably end up still in the top 5, but definitely a little bit of a drop off. But teams are honestly just hitting their shots against us. They're giving us their best looks, and we're still getting, high amount of points off of turnovers, specifically in this game. We're still dominating the paint in this game. I mean, we had 70 points out of the 140 in the paint for a game like tonight. And that, obviously we expected to dominate in that fashion. But I mean, I'm looking at kind of the overall stats, and there's not anything that pointed towards, I guess, exactly why, we won by as many points as we did. We did have a 15-point lead in this one. They had a 10-point lead at some point in the game. And I feel like the really thing that helped us out with this one was we hit a lot of our free throws, only missed one free throw, shot at least decently well. I mean, 38%, 37% isn't too shabby considering the last couple of games that we've had. And everything else, we kind of played the other team pretty even. Also, the other thing that I was looking at is the minute distribution. J-Dub got 33 minutes, Chet got 30 minutes, SGA got 36 minutes, Kaysen at 34. And I feel like I haven't seen this type of minute distribution all season long where the main guys are getting, playoff level minutes. And so I thought that was a huge, benefit for us. And I think Mark probably recognized we shouldn't take too many losses going into the next year. And so also one thing I really want to point out before we move on to anything else, this is a crazy stat. We haven't lost a game to the Eastern Conference since, I believe, January 9th of this year. So if we beat out the next couple teams, we'll be going through the whole year pretty much, maybe having only lost no games or one game to the Eastern Conference. And I think that's a crazy thing that I saw pop up on my timeline. What do you guys think about that?
That's ridiculous. I mean, that's crazy. It's I like that you mentioned the concept of, other than that one win or that one loss, an entire year worth of beating up on East teams is just insane in the regular season. I mean, that's just, I'd like to know statistically how many times that dominant of a win has been against a conference, because I know that we did set the record for the most consecutive wins against a conference, against the East. So I'd like to know some more stats about that. Joe, what do you think?
Well, we're the league, I guess, in NBA history. That's we own that record against an opposing conference. So there's nothing else that we can kind of look towards, because we're the ones that own the stat at this point. So I don't think it's ever happened before to end the question, Gabe.
Right.
Yeah,
Joe,
it's just been complete utter dominance against the Eastern Conference, and it's definitely a good thing, because you want to get to the championship, you got to play an Eastern Conference team in the finals. We did lose 3 in the finals, though, by the way. I just want to put that out there. But, I mean, I think tonight I kind of want to shift the conversation a little bit. We've had, a rough week and a half, and rough being OKC rough, which is just losing any game at this point. We've been talking about lineups, right? We've been talking about closing lineups. We've been talking about starting lineups a lot on this show recently. The Cason Wallace, and I'm going to asking the question to both of you guys and everybody in the chat right now, did Cason Wallace earn his way back into the starting lineup for good?
For good, I think it's tough to say for good. I think right now I definitely like him starting. I mean, I've liked him starting, period. I mean, I like the idea of that. I don't think there's ever going to be a for good in terms of that last player in the starting lineup. It's always going to be Shea, Dub, and Chet. And then from there, it's kind of going to be up in the air. But I think Cason has proved that he's above pretty much everyone else we have in terms of that spot, where 80% of the games he should be starting at least. So what do you think, Xavier?
I think he's definitely deserved it, but I don't know if we make that change just yet. Maybe, post All-Star, after a couple games in, we start locking into a different lineup. I know we did that last year where we switched things up. It's a possibility that we go in that direction. It also depends on Hartenstein's health moving forward with the calf injuries, and we haven't really gotten an update on a timeline, like if this is going to be extended or not. Depends on that. Like if Hartenstein comes back, he could just come off the bench as he ramps up, and then maybe we just stick with Kaysen starting. But regardless, I do think we should have a guard in there. But I think Kaysen's the perfect guy. That's the guy that I've been advocating for. But here's the stat that I was looking for. This is for the regular season, by the way, Joe. I know we lost the playoff games to the Pacers, but just for the regular season, our last time we lost was 634 days ago to the Eastern Conference.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
That's insane.
That's unbelievable. So just wanted to put that out there.
All right, back to the game. Oh, sorry, Gabe, go ahead.
I was going to go back to the game as well. I wanted to point something out that stood out to me a lot about tonight. We won the rebound battle 49-38. That's big for us, especially without Hartenstein. We had a lot of guys getting rebounds tonight that normally don't always come up with the most boards. I mean, both J-Dub and Caruso came up with 9 boards tonight. I know Chet had 9 as well. Kaysen had 7. We were just kind of everywhere. Everybody's fighting for the ball, getting rebounds, a lot of crashing, and that's how you win basketball games. Like, getting rebounds will always at least give you a big advantage when it comes to securing wins, because that's been a problem for us. I feel like the amount of offensive rebounds we've given up at times have been devastating. I mean, it really can single-handedly lose a game. But tonight we took care of business. We got our boards and we capitalized on that. It's crazy how much I feel like I have to praise us whenever we win a rebound battle, just because it doesn't happen very much. But when it does happen, it's very obvious to me. Like, it feels like we're taking care of business in the paint. And that's something that really stood out to me tonight. So that's one of the biggest things that I wanted to note was excellent job by the team tonight, fighting for rebounds, crashing the boards. I know Onyeka is not a giant player by any means, and not having Kristaps help that too, because he's giant, but Onyeka is a strong player. He can absolutely get bored. So winning that rebound battle was something that stood out to me tonight for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I think it was a lot of effort on the offensive end, especially in the second half. It was a rough first half, man. The team was, Atlanta was hitting everything. They put up 74 points. They Nickeil Alexander-Walker hit a left-handed half-court shot. That's something you only see in OKC. Only at Paycom Center can you get that entertainment value, bro. I'm telling you, a left-hand Hail Mary half-court shot at the buzzer. But with that being said, I like the way we battled. It's easy in these types of games to just kind of go through the motions and crumble over and not show effort. They did show effort. Atlanta was just hitting all their shots, but the offense looked really good tonight, and that's a good sign because the offense hasn't been great relatively in the last week or so.
I
want to shout out Chet Holmgren as well. He's been back-to-back games where he's had 4 blocks. Also, I think Kaysen Wallace had his 6 steals in the last one, and I believe he had 6 steals again tonight, if I'm not mistaken. Also, SGA got to his 20 points before the halftime, so he's at 104 straight games. I mean, this is as good as you can get. And then also our prediction of the brother battle with Kaysen and Keaton, and also the cousins battling. Nickeil had 30 tonight, which was huge. We haven't had back-to-back games. This is a first-time drought for SGA where he's missed the 30-point mark. He's up to 24 games this season, and tonight he shot 75% in the 30-plus games that he's played, or the 30-plus point games. He's shooting 75% in those. What do you guys think about that?
Gabe, I'll let you go first there.
Tonight was crazy. I mean, he was just taking care of business. He was doing what he needed to do. It never ceases to blow my mind watching him get to his spots and put up the shots that he needs to put up. There was a little run in the fourth quarter where they were cutting it again. They were cutting the lead again, and Shea comes in, and within 15 seconds, he hits a step-back 3 to immediately put us back in the game. That's the kind of thing that only an MVP-type player is doing. That's the kind of thing that he was doing all game tonight. I mean, when we needed points, give him the ball because he'll get it.
Yeah, most definitely.
I just think I'm just really happy that Chet's looking this way right now. Back to mid-20s. He scored 29 the other night, which is huge for him. Averaging about 27.5 points against Atlanta this season in 2 games. I think it flows really well when J-Dub's on. And when J-Dub's have 20 points on 50%, 9 rebounds and 7 assists, you can see the offense just clicks completely together. And that's what we kind of been saying, and an emotional standpoint, maybe not emotional, but a little frustration in the past games, especially with J-Dub, because he's still coming back from injury, and it's just it's annoying to have to watch him struggle. Tonight he looked good, and OKC put up 140 points. Yes, they played not a great defensive team in the Atlanta Hawks, but 140 points is 140 points.
That's
crazy comment from Sykes there. No, it was just nice to see it, Joe. I'm glad you mentioned just seeing all three of them really taking care of business tonight. That kind of felt like one of the only games of the season where we really got to see the big three, and it's kind of just like I don't think a lot of people are down on us right now. I mean, obviously we've had a rough couple stints here, so people are low on us, but this team doesn't fully, or not this team, I apologize. The league doesn't fully understand how good this team can be when the big three is connecting and the big three is working the way it's supposed to. And tonight was not even like the full glimpse of that. Like J-Dub can play better than this. We know he can. We know he's getting to the point where he's going to start scoring more efficiently. I mean, if you're going to have Shea playing 36 minutes a game, he's going to put up at least 35 points. If you have J-Dub playing the way we know he can, he's putting up more than 20, and Chet's putting up 24 with 4 blocks and getting his rebounds. That big three is insane. And if you're going to add around him, Kaysen's starting to hit his threes while also playing depoy level defense. Dort's going to continue to play a lockdown defense. We have a stacked bench. This is where when we lost the second game to the Spurs, when we started seeing Thunder fans freak out and say that things are getting bad, this is where you're kind of reminded, like, okay, guys, like we still only have 5 losses, and we still, like, when you watch the team play the way we can, you remember, like, okay, maybe people are overreacting a little. Maybe we're really good. Like tonight we struggled, and there were times where it absolutely frustrates me, but like ultimately when we can play the way that we know we can, and when we take care of the ball, and when we move the ball the way that we're able to, and we actually posted something about that a couple of days ago, talking about how when OKC moves the ball like that, there's no way they can get stopped. And that's just how it is. Like when this team is clicking, they are easily the best team in the league. It's just a matter of, can we find that click again? And I think that right now, this game at least was a step in the right direction to getting back to where we were.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like, oh yeah, when Kaysen's hitting threes and J-Dub looks good, it's like, oh yeah, OKC won a championship last year. This is why. But it was just such a long stretch that that hasn't been happening. You kind of forget. But I will say, like, yeah, the offense was great tonight, but the defense is still like, what's going on there? And yeah, Atlanta hit a lot of shots, but teams are going to hit shots. Like Indiana hit a lot of shots in the finals, and we went to 7. Do you guys have any thoughts on the defensive side? Like the effort was there for sure, especially in that third quarter and fourth. First half defense is kind of what I'm gauging at here.
What I'll say about the defense, I know it's dropped down from the numbers and eye test perspective, but I think Gabe hit on it perfectly. When we're lacking on the defensive end, I want to see effort in other places. And the place we saw that was on the rebounding from the team as a whole. And that's something we didn't see in the Spurs matchup, where I looked at the box score. I'm like, okay. And during the game, I can just visibly see like these guys aren't putting in the exact effort to beat a team like the Spurs. And I know I keep going back to that, but I expected them to show a lot more effort somewhere. And honestly, there was not any effort really in any part of the box score. Or anything that I could see visibly where someone was trying to make a point. I guess maybe Alex Caruso shooting a bunch of shots was a really good point. Kendrick stepping up with his defense, but tonight seeing them at least get to the hustle boards and crashing the glass, that just shows me that they're trying to be a little bit more versatile, noticing, hey, maybe our defense isn't being up to par, or maybe teams have figured us out offensively on their end, where they know we're stepping off the shooters. They know what kind of our game plan is. And I think a lot of teams have started doing the extra swing passes against us because they know we're going to be closing out really, really hard. And that leads to a lot of open threes. And I think teams are starting to maybe figure that out. And maybe it's time to switch it up. And I think the one switch up was us crashing the glass a little bit harder on those. If we miss the closeout, it's fine. We're going to at least close out on getting more rebounds off those misses that will come. So, yeah.
There was something else big that I wanted to mention tonight that I really, really am happy to see. One thing that I have felt like is concerning with us is if we're not like totally dominating on the turnover battle and the fast break points, then I feel like we struggle. Tonight, it was a close turnover battle. It was only 16-13. They had 16, and we still managed to win. So it's nice for me to see us taking our actual like offensive possessions and scoring, and not just relying on getting a turnover and getting a fast break, or forcing the ball out of their hands and getting a free layup. Like, you can't rely on that. And while our defense was really good, and half of the season last year we were able to rely on that, which that was just crazy how good our defense was. But when you get comfortable with relying on getting turnovers and scoring on fast breaks, you don't get to run your offensive sets as much. And that's something that was concerning me with this team. Is it felt like if we weren't getting our turnovers, it didn't look as good. And I know that sounds kind of obvious. Like, yeah, obviously if you get turnovers and score on fast breaks, you're going to score more. But it's nice to see us winning games despite not setting a crazy season high turnover record for the other team or something like that. So I was just really glad that tonight we were able to win by as much as we did, just by raw, like, shooting, running offensive plays, running sets, knocking down shots, not relying on just getting turnovers. So that was something that I noticed, especially, that felt authentic, and it felt like because the big three was on, that's what was happening.
Yeah, authentic is absolutely the right word to use there. It just felt good to play well on offense. I'll keep it as simple as that, and I'm pretty sure that's what Gabe was just getting at. Like, when's the last time we've seen an offensive outing from this OKC team like this? Like, it's been a while. And like Gabe said, even when they put on like 125, 130 points, a lot of those come off fast breaks and come off turnovers. But tonight it was just offense. And it's good to see that, like, the shots are going to fall. They're going to fall. We know that they're going to fall. It's just been a rough stretch, to start the season. Everyone's kind of down. And you mentioned Alex Caruso's shooting is down. Casey Wallace's shooting is down. Lou Dort's shooting is down. J-Dub's shooting is down. Everyone's shooting is down besides Shea is kind of what I'm getting at. But it'll get back. It'll get back because this is the same team and the same group of guys that won an NBA championship last year. And they weren't the best shooting team, but they shot well in the games that mattered most. And, I mean, that's really it. I am going to do a transition here. We're about 24 minutes in. He's not here. But it is time for...
What the is Jack wearing?
All right, I know everyone, even you two, are probably like, what the hell is he doing? I just want to shout out the dedication to this podcast. I mean, sorry, that was supposed to be me. I can't get it on myself, but I don't know if you guys could see right over there, people in the chat, little Bring the Thunder #1 OKC jersey. Are you kidding me? That's what Joe's wearing tonight. It's not a player, but Bring the Thunder #1. Shout out to Paycom Center for hooking it up.
That's wonderful. That's incredible. I'm sure Jack would be honored to know that we used this segment to introduce that. That's great.
Absolutely.
I wanted to pose a question for you guys here. So we saw a couple bounce backs from Dort the last few games, but tonight back to struggling again. 1 for 7 from 3. Are we getting any closer to concern? Give me a scale of 1 to 10. 10 being we got to trade him. 1 being like, I have zero concerns. Perfectly fine. So I want to hear what you guys think. Is it time to have any sort of concern? I'll start with Joe. You can go ahead and give me your thoughts first.
Yeah, I kind of know what Satbeer is going to say, and I've kind of been saying the same thing as him for the last, we've been talking about that for like a year now, right? For me, it's don't trade him, but you don't have to play him down the stretch in these types of games, and they didn't tonight. That's all that it is. Like I always say, like, obviously LeBron and Luka, guys like LeBron, guys like Luka, guys like Tatum, you're going to have to put Lou Dort on him. Casey Wallace is an outstanding defender, and he can guard up, but he can't guard that up, and you don't want to waste J-Dub fully on the defensive end. You want to let him like read passing lanes and help weak side blocks and stuff like that. But big forwards, that's what Lou Dort's made for. He gets in their head, he plays them strong, plays them tough. Casey Wallace like does excellent job on guys like he played really good against Jaylen Brown. But Casey Wallace is a great defender, but he's not guarding Jason Tatum. Like, like next year, right? Say, or even this year, say, Tatum comes back and they, Celtics are looking good and we meet them in the finals. And if we don't have Lou Dort, we're getting smoked defensively. Like, that's just the facts. Like, yeah, you could put Casey on Jaylen Brown. Are you going to put J-Dub on Jason Tatum the whole series? Like, yeah, I'm sure he'll do a decent job, but no way close to what Lou Dort would do. I don't need Lou Dort to hit 5 threes a game. I need him to shoot 35%. And yeah, he's been struggling, but he's been banged up to start this year. So again, if he's struggling like he was tonight and we needed offense at the end of the game, play AJ, play Kaysen, who played outstanding tonight. That's all it is. Trading him would be a mistake.
Yeah. I agree with One Love. I'm on 0 level of concern still. I'm giving him the same grace that I'm giving J-Dub on the shooting struggles. Also, I mean, we have the same exact player with him and Kaysen, and I feel like Kaysen hasn't done much offensively either, except he's just doing way better on the defensive side, and we haven't said anything, about him. And
Absolutely.
so, I mean, just in general, the team hasn't been clicking on offense, and everyone knows how me and Joe kind of feel about, a guy like Dort. But outside of the numbers, you need a guy like him that's like Draymond essentially for our team, where you need one guy that's just focused on one task, and that's stopping the other team's best guard. The bigger guards, like let's say if we were in the finals against Cade Cunningham or we're facing Luka, like you need guys that have one mission, that aren't looking to help in the passing lanes. He kind of understands that part of the game, and it's hard to find a guy that's that locked in for that many minutes. I mean, for every minute he's on the court, he's fully locked in and he's able to get the job done. There's other guys that, I'm not saying that they're not focused, but they're not able to play the same level of tenacity as Lou Dort. And I think the guys on the team will also tell you, like, any kind of skill set they're picking up from a steals perspective, whether it comes to Alex Caruso, who's been a pretty solid defender. I think he's picked up his level, and then Kaysen learning directly from Lou Dort. He's kind of the guy that's the originator of 1-versus-1 defense, and I think he's number 1 in the league at one-on-one defense. I mean, I don't think it gets any better than what he does on a nightly basis,
Right.
And that's pretty much irreplaceable. You can't trade that person. And also, he's on a contract year. I think he's extension eligible. So I don't really mind that he's not having the best offensive year. Yeah, we're penny pinching right now. I know Sam Presti's probably having a great time at this as well, where he's like hoping iHeart has low numbers. So when their contract situation comes up, he's like, "Hey, all I got for you guys is 15 mil for the next 15 years or 4 years or whatever." That's what I meant to say. 15 mil over 4 years for both of them. We get them locked up long term for a really good deal. So I don't really mind if he doesn't hit a couple shots. We'll still win a championship without a couple Lou Dort threes here or there. I feel like we have new offensive pieces that can come in. And also, we saw tonight, I said this way earlier on, like the way Mark's been distributing the minutes, it's really been like 25 minutes to most of the starters. If he really wants to lock in and just give the 4 best players, which is Kaysen, Chet, J-Dub, and Shea, 35-plus minutes, we should be blowing out teams even without our bench units for the most night. Like, all we need is 2 guys to come along for the ride, which is we saw Alex Caruso do tonight, and then obviously Kaysen had a pretty solid shooting night. So we don't need much. We only need 8 guys to come along for the ride to get 10-plus points, and we'll be solid after that. So
yeah. Before I say this, I just want to let everybody know it's like a joke. I'm not messing around with people's money, but like,
yeah.
Lou Dort, you want to miss a few more threes during the regular season? Yeah, it's fine. It's minus $5 million. Oh, Isaiah Hartenstein, you've been injured 3 times in the last 2 seasons. Yeah, that's another minus $5 million. No, I'm joking, but seriously, if it ends up, it's going to end up helping OKC unless they, like reverse what's been going on this season. But I hate this comment. But I love this comment. I'll entertain that. But let's not. I don't think we're going to entertain. OKC is going to entertain that this season anyway.
No. I want to add on to you guys' Lou Dort conversation a little bit. I absolutely agree with what you guys are saying. There's something else that I think that probably doesn't get talked about very much, and it's something that he brings off the court, and that's, think about how much he increases our team's offensive output because of the constant practicing against him. I mean, Shea's talked about before how hard it is in practice going up against someone as aggressive as Lou Dort. He's making everybody better because on the other side of the ball, when you're not playing games, you have one of the best on-ball defenders guarding every single player on our team. That's talk about iron sharpening iron. Like, you're just getting stronger and stronger because your defensive players guarding some of the best offensive players, and your offensive players are going against someone like Lou. So I agree with what you guys are saying for sure. My only thing is I do think Lou, with his minutes, I do think he's a little too aggressive to put up threes sometimes. Putting up 7 tonight, I just don't love that. I think sometimes he takes shots he just shouldn't. There are absolutely some threes where he's a good when you see
he's way back. He's way back.
Just like 3 feet behind the line, and you see him revving that up. I get anxious. I get real anxious. But
he doesn't hesitate. He does not hesitate. You see it before he catches the ball. That bitch is going up.
If you ask him, he definitely thinks of himself as like Stephen Curry shooting. I mean, he's confident, which, hey, man, I'll give him that. But, yeah, no, I just wanted to pose the question to you guys. Obviously, I don't want to trade Lou Dort. I do not think it's right to trade Lou Dort. If anyone's advocating for that, that would blow my mind, because the other side of that is he's our longest tenured player. You can't get rid of him. That's just not something we should be doing. So, no, Dort is absolutely locked for sure. So I agree with what you guys.
He'd start for every other team in the NBA. There's not any other lineup where he's not starting. So if that's the case, you can't get rid of him in your own lineup. Where if we were to drop him off and just say any NBA team can pick him up, they'd all start him into their lineups, because most of their stars are not able to play the defense that he is, and you need that next to a guy like SGA. Like, if we had to ask J-Dub, SGA to start doing what Lou Dort's doing nightly, they may run out of steam by All-Star break.
They would.
If I'm really honest.
They would. And to end this conversation about Lou Dort, it's just, you mentioned like every NBA team he'd be a starting 3 or 2, wherever you want to put him, 4. But for us, it's just such a blessing to have Lou, because you start him every night. But if you, like I said before, we have such a deep team. If you don't think you could play him at the end of the game, you don't have to. You don't have to. He's a defensive player. That's all you need him for. And to make a few threes. All right. We're almost 35 minutes in. We're going to hit up Satvir's phone real quick. We're going to put Satvir's phone number on the screen for everyone to call in. No, I'm absolutely joking. But it is time for...
Welcome to Satvir's Quarter.
All right, guys. I've got a stat of the night for us tonight. The Atlanta Hawks tied their franchise record 25 made three-pointers tonight against us. Obviously, they lost tonight, but this level of shooting, this is one of those games where I feel like it was one of those games where I felt like we could have lost, right? Like, they're shooting lights out, and if we didn't get the extra rebounds, if we didn't have the extra level of focus and, really locked in to win this game, and Mark didn't lock in with the lineups and didn't give those extra minutes like he typically doesn't. This is one of those where we could have dropped against Trae Young list, Kristaps Porzingis list, Jalen Johnson's list team, as Joe mentioned. So I want to shout out the guys for just honestly putting in the effort that was needed to take the win tonight. There was nothing really flashy about this one. Everyone just got it done. They knew what the objective was. It was just to go out and win the game. And I'm sure not many people that were watching the game, they probably saw a bunch of threes go up and were like, whoa, the Hawks are shooting pretty good. But that was actually their best shooting performance in their franchise. And I think this was a trend. Yeah. And this happens pretty often against us, even though we're a top 5 ranked defense. One of the ways that we defend is by leaving a lot of shooters open and just hoping that they don't hit them. And I would say our last 6 games, that stretch has been pretty rough for us.
Yeah, it kind of bit us right in the behind there. The Lakers last year, I think it was the second time we played them, first time at home. They had a franchise record of 3s too. Seems to just be a thing. But we won a championship, so that's fine with me.
Yeah, there's something else I wanted to mention as well. You're talking about the threes dropping and whatnot. This was also one of those games where they weren't just hot. They were hitting shots that they shouldn't be hitting. Joe, you talk about that half-court shot. Two of those 25 threes, one of them is the half-court, and the other one was Vit Krejci hitting a bank shot 3 straight on. That was just ridiculous. So this turned into one of those games, Savvy, you're talking about it's a game where you could lose. It absolutely is, because it becomes one of those momentum games where as soon as they get momentum rolling, they're going to start hitting shots that just are ridiculous. I mean, if not to instantly attack a rival, but if I'm a Timberwolves fan, I am in shambles that we let Na walk. like genuinely in shambles.
Yeah, he's so good, bro.
He is a
He's so
dog.
great.
I mean, he is an insane player. He stops on a dime like a superstar. I mean, the way he stops and pulls up is ridiculous. Honestly, it looks like Shea
I
sometimes.
knew you were going there.
No, it absolutely does. The way he stops in the mid-range sometimes and just pulls up. He had one against Lou in the fourth quarter, or it might have been the third quarter, where he just lost him. Like, Lou genuinely did not expect it. And that's not to diss on Lou at all. Lou was playing great all night, but on the defensive end. But Nas a dog. So this was absolutely one of those games where if you're not careful, yeah, this gets out of control. So Savvy, I'm glad you bring that up because we hustled. I mean, we played hard. Even guys like Brandon Carlson, he didn't play a lot of minutes, but he made use of his minutes, and that's what I like to see. So absolutely shout out to our team for just pulling this one through despite I mean, this is the definition of a trap game. This is the kind of game where people are like, how did they only win by 11? You should have watched the game because this is just what happens when you play a team that's feeling it.
Yeah. Last thing from me before I kick it to Sap here to end it off tonight. I love it. Like, make OKC work. Let's see what what they're about. They just won a championship. Let's see if they think they're the best or if they still have something to prove. I think tonight was a really good test. I hope no games are easy. I hope they win all the games, but I'd love, keep giving OKC trouble and make them learn throughout the regular season. All right, Sapir, go ahead with the I think you had some start comments.
Yeah, before I get to those starred comments, I want to make a couple extra comments for myself for some takes here. I want to just remind everyone we're watching one of the best scorers to have ever played the game. So please enjoy the basketball games that you get to watch SGA in. I mean, he's kind of, in his prime right now. He still has, a good 5 years to go and maybe even longer than that, obviously. We hope that, but that's something I wanted to shout out there. And also, it felt like the Hawks were doing cone drills on us with the amount of threes that they made. And getting to these starred comments here, Carlson had some positive minutes tonight as well. He had scored 6 points in this one, but I feel like that the fact that he got trust in this game to get 11 points alongside Isaiah Joe, who also got 11 points, Aaron Wiggins got 11 points. With the minute distribution that I saw, the fact that Carlson got 11 points in this one and, played really well tonight, played well the past couple nights. What do you guys think about this?
I love it. Please keep giving him minutes. I think he's earning them. I mean, I know Hartenstein wasn't playing tonight, obviously, and we don't have J. Will either. So obviously those minutes are going to get eaten up when those guys come back. But I have no problem with starting to maybe see if Carlson can outplay what J. Will brings us. And J. Will's obviously one of the biggest off the court players. I mean, the way he gets us hyped, the way he gets into it is incredible. So I would never want to lose him. But Carlson is the real deal. Brandon Carlson is the kind of player that I could see if we lose him, I can see him going to a different team and immediately being a big impact player. So I love him getting minutes. I hope he continues to get minutes. He hustled tonight and he earned all of them.
Yeah, Brandon Carlson is like the most put together Charlotte Hornets starter ever, if that makes any sense to you guys. It's always great to have the depth. Carlson plays good every time he's in the game for the most part. Like you mentioned, Hartenstein's out, J. Will's out, and Thomas Sorber, who is going to get minutes in this rotation, our rookie, isn't seeing the court this year. So to have Carlson there, it's just an extra plus for OKC.
Yeah. The other point that I wanted to knock out for tonight was we've had a script of playing a bunch of games where we expect our team to win in the third quarter. And sometimes that is going to bite you in the back when you don't play well in the second half. And most of the games that we've won this season, we've knocked out teams, gotten big leads in third quarters. Obviously, we couldn't maintain that against the games that we lost or teams came back against us. But outside of that, we've beaten teams pretty handily with that method, and I think we'll continue to do that. Also, getting to more comments here, I do have some closing statements that Mark made that'll help some of our takes from earlier, but Mark was mentioning the referees tonight. I'll address this one.
Oh, I thought you said Mark Dagnall in the pros. I was like, whoa, wait a minute, really?
No. Mark Espinoza was mentioning the referees tonight. He felt like they were a little off. I mean, we're middle of the league when it comes to free throws given, free throws made, or taken ourselves. I would say it's still below average than what Thunder fans should expect with having, a potential back-to-back MVP on the team. He should be getting more. I mentioned this stat since December 5th. He hasn't had double-digit free throws, and he didn't have them last game. He didn't have them this game. So that's been a trend. It's kind of just disappointing, but it's nothing that I try to talk too much about because I don't think SGA is even worried about it. He's still scoring 32, 34 points a night. I don't think he's too stressed about it, but as a team, it is, and it has always been a concern for all three of us, but we try not to hammer this one. I think we could talk about it probably every night. We don't get the calls. Like J-Dub and Chet probably could get a lot more for being all-stars. But that's no worries. Moving forward, he also mentioned tonight we played a game that, if we play our way, even if teams hit threes on us, we usually still put them away. And that's the thing that I was mentioning. Usually in third quarters, even if teams are, hitting really well against us, we still lock in, play that, quick 5-minute stretch of defense and then, blow out the team. And even if they start shooting well again, it's usually too late by that point.
Mark, that's crazy, Mark. That's a crazy comment.
I haven't seen that one. It's like these guys aren't allowed to have off nights. I would say on X, we'll see a lot of freakouts. Like if we lose a single game, it's like trade everyone, trade this guy, trade that guy, and J-Dub's not him. Like he's not this guy or that guy or whatever. And if Chet has a bad night, like they'll bring up crazy things. And I think I keep mentioning this. These guys are still so young, still in their prime. They're champions. We just need to give them a little bit more time, and we're still only on 5 losses. Sykes is mentioning Queso deserves to start. We truly believe so, or at least I definitely do. But I don't see this happening anytime soon. Usually it takes a bigger sample size for Mark to change up the starting lineup or something drastic to happen where he feels like, one type of lineup doesn't work. But I think he's seen that Hartenstein works best alongside Chet. And what I'll mention is last year, Chet's issue was he needed a big next to him. This year, I don't think it's as relevant. Like, I think he can self-sustain himself because of his ball handling getting better. He doesn't need that creation that Hartenstein used to provide. So maybe it's a time to take a look at Cason Wallace starting. Syke also had this amazing comment. Again, if everyone around SGA, Dub, and Chet is even semi-productive, this was what I was mentioning as well. Our offense will be amazing. We'll hit a new peak, and the defense can lack a little bit in some nights, and we'll still be fine. And then Barcuz, this was his early comment. Cason, new 3-point celebration. I think he brought that out to show up against Keaton. He was mentioning the post-game presser there. That's kind of most of the member comments. I know there's probably a bunch that got in the comment section. I just saw the one that Mark but I do want to get to Mark Dagnall's comments about Lou Dort shooting, Alex Caruso shooting. He mentioned Alex Caruso's competitive nature, mental toughness, where he shot 0 for 8 on Christmas, and he's still going to continue to shoot it. And when talking about Lou Dort and his shooting, he's still saying that he has confidence in him. And he says both of those guys show a lot of body. They've shown the body of work where they've hit those shots and they've hit big shots. And he said, we're not going to overreact to shots not going in. So I think that statement is the best one to close it out when it comes to Lou Dort, Caruso, Cason, anyone that's not shooting well. Mark's not going to just, give up on you in a small sample size, especially if those shots are just not falling. Like if you're getting them and they're just not hitting, he's just going to keep you in the game and, continue to instill that trust. He knows who his guys are, and he's going to continue to go with them because that's the only way you can really win games in the NBA. If you start going away from one of your starters and, limiting their confidence, it's not doing you any good. You're pretty much – it's the same thing we talked about, I think, the other night where, I think Jack mentioned let's bench Chet just as an example, right? But in that case, that's not doing us any good. That's a top 2 overall pick, one of the best defenders in the league. It's just only diminishing. It's only diminishing returns when you start giving up on your own players. You just have to kind of trust in them. You can give them last minutes. You can play them in certain moments, but to give up on your own players, it just makes no sense. And I've seen a lot of teams do that where they're like, this guy has a 30-game bad stretch, and they're like, okay, now we're putting him on the trade block, or we're just going to bench him. And I just don't think that's the right move. You should just ride it out with the team that you have, ride it out with the players, and then reevaluate. That's the whole thing Sam Presti always mentions. They'll reevaluate over the summer if something's not going right. They want to look at a full season and see if this is a longer trend. they're not worried about short-term trends, especially with guys coming off injuries, shorter off seasons, things like that. That's what I've been stressing as well. Like, this has been a different off season for these guys. They're still so young, and to win a championship, they don't know what they should have done this off season probably differently until they win the next one, and then they'll know. So, yeah.
All right, Gabe, I think with that, we're going to wrap up here. A nice 50-minute game recap on Monday, December 29th against Atlanta. I had a lot of fun. I hope you guys did too. I hope all of you guys in the comments did too. Again, if you're enjoying the content, like the live, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Go check out our premium subs on the YouTube channel. They're wonderful. I'm so thankful for all of our new members, everyone who's commenting. Mark is actually one of the members, and he won the giveaway, ironically enough, of the $120 NBA Store gift card. But for real, like everyone who's been joining the channel, everyone who's been tuning in, appreciate every single one of you. And Gabe, do you have anything else?
Yeah, no, I mean, Joe hit all the marks there. We really, really appreciate all of you guys being able to comment and just come in and talk with us. We always talk about how we're just as big of fans as you guys are, so we're never going to try to ignore. We'll always do what we can to talk with you guys and just have debates back and forth, discussing games and whatnot. So make sure you guys tune in to our next game on the 31st. We are playing the Trailblazers. We'll do the pregame and the postgame for that as well. But yeah, thank you guys, like Joe said, and go ahead and send us home.
Yeah. Last thing, Spurs used up a lot of energy against OKC. They are now losing at home to trash teams. It's wonderful to see. No, I'm joking, but it is wonderful to see. Nikola Jokic went down with an injury today, and Denver lost as well. The injury is terrible, but Denver losing and the Spurs losing is great for OKC as they get back in the win column here against the Sixers and Hawks. Wednesday, we will see you guys home against the Trailblazers on New Year's Eve. So we'll see you guys then for sure. Don't act like we won't be here, because we're going to be here for you guys all the time. And, man, Thunder up, baby, let's go! Woo!